FS1, sun peeking through the clouds here in Champaign, Illinois. Senior day for the Fighting Illini, hoping to snap a two-game skid and clinch a winning season for just the fourth time since 2001 as Illinois hosts Michigan State. And we welcome you inside. Hi, everybody. Alex Faust and Robert Smith here with you. You think back 3 weeks ago, Robert, this Illinois team was riding high. 6-1, solidly in the top 25, flirting maybe with the outside chance of making the playoffs, maybe lurking outside the Big Ten title race. And then it kind of came off the rails. Can they get back on track?
Yeah, I think that they can. And if they're going to get back on the rails, it's going to start with the run game. As you mentioned, the sun's peeking through here, but the classic thunder and lightning combination. Josh McCray, 6'1", 235-ish, 240 pounds, depends on the hamburger at lunch. And Aiden Lawfrey, he's a smaller back, but he has got some lightning legs on him. High school track champion in the 60-meter dash. These guys are tremendous together. And I think the way that Altmyer has played at quarterback, he's protected the ball well, but rely on that run game.
Michigan State, meanwhile, game under 500, but they've run through a gauntlet of a schedule in Jonathan Smith's first year. They still have a lot to play for. They still have bowl eligibility in front of them. And if you haven't seen this freshman wide receiver, Nick Marsh, let me tell you, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, you certainly are, and overshadowed by a couple of other big wide receivers, with Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, obviously at Ohio State. But this guy has it all. It's not just the way that he catches the ball, but the way that he runs routes and just how physical he is. Defensive coordinator for Illinois, Aaron Henry, said that guy will block you, he will hit you, and he can certainly catch it.
If the Spartans can win 2 of their final 3, they can clinch bowl eligibility for the first time since their run to the Peach Bowl in 2021. Can they finish strong, or will Illinois find a way back on track here at home in Champaign? Kickoff on FS1 is coming up next. "50 degrees, overcast skies, although starting to clear here in Champaign. One of those days where you get a light fall jacket going and it'll cool down as the afternoon goes along. Perfect fall football weather here. Jonathan Smith and the Michigan State Spartans. Boy, we were talking about the gauntlet of the schedule that they've had to go through recently. 3 of their 5 losses to teams that are top 5 in the latest CFP poll. And Brett Bielema, well, they had such high hopes given where they were midway through the season, but they believe this team can finish strong here. And what a job he's done in a program that they feel they still have some resources that they could, add to their program and get a little bit better in that department.
Yeah, and of course, senior day here with the last home game. Only 14 players in their last season. A team that has as many players coming back next year as any team in the country.
Michigan State won the toss. They deferred. Kanari Wiltshire takes it out across the 20, slips a tackle, and is pushed out at the 27-yard line. A nice return for Wiltshire to begin the afternoon. 26 yards to set up the Illini offense. And you talked about Luke Altmyer, Robert, in our open. Last game against Minnesota, 20 for 33, 226 yards, but lost 2 fumbles, and turnovers have been an issue for Illinois lately.
Yeah, they certainly have, and he's done a pretty good job protecting the football when it comes to those interceptions. But you do talk about his ball security. And a couple of them, sometimes you carry the ball enough, you're going to put it on the ground, but you certainly need to be aware of that. Make sure that you're carrying that thing high and tight.
Aiden Lawfrey in the backfield here as the Illini begin on play action, and Altmyer rolls out, hits his tight end, and Tanner Arkin underneath. A short game with Angelo Gross making the tackle for Michigan State. Just a gain of 1 as we take a look at the Illini offense. Pretty consistent for the most part on their offensive line, but boy, the quarterback has been hit a lot lately, and that's been part of the reason why Altmyer and ball security has been an issue, allowing a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles for loss. 2nd down and 9 here. And a handoff on 2nd down that won't get very much. Lawfrey burrowing ahead for a couple of yards. Remember, they're without Caden Fagan, out for the season with hip surgery, as we take a look at the Michigan State defense and the Spartans at a game under 500 coming in. Hey, they forced 3 and outs on Indiana's first 2 drives their last game. and then allowed 47 unanswered points. It was, as Jonathan Smith described, an embarrassing performance as that day went along.
Yeah, no question about it. Joe Rossi, though, tremendous defensive coordinator, and they've really got some issues on the back end of the defense. A lot of injuries, playing a lot of young guys, including a couple of true freshmen in Denson and Thompson at the safety positions.
Injuries have really piled up, especially in the defensive backfield. On third down, Altmaier to pass. Scanning, pumping, throwing, nearly picked. Perhaps should have been. Jordan Hall, the will linebacker position, the sophomore. In and out of his hands, but it's a 3-and-out for Illinois.
Yeah, nice job covering by the linebackers here. Darius Snow and Jordan Hall in the coverage. And as you called it, partner, Jordan Hall almost comes up with the interception. And that's just one. Luke Altmaier, he's looking to his left. And as he's scanning back to the right, he did not see Jordan Hall, who was kind of sitting in that zone. But a great job in Michigan State defense keeping the eyes on Altmaier.
Rhythm has been an issue for the Illinois offense as they'll punt it away here with Hugh Robertson. Fielded at the 27 by Montori Foster, and he'll take it out to the 35-yard line, and that's where the Spartan offense will begin. And there was a bit of a question on the health of their quarterback, the sophomore Aiden Shiles. He certainly was the biggest question mark for their offense coming in after taking a hard hit a couple of weeks ago, landing on his right wrist against Indiana, but they say he's 100% today.
Yeah, we're going to see how he looks today. And, of course, both of these teams benefit from that bye week. At this time of the season, man, nobody's healthy, right? We're all a little bit banged up at this time of year. But both of these teams, 2 bye weeks this season. We'll talk a little bit later about how Brett Bielema likes to schedule that second bye week.
Play action, first down. It's going to be a run for Childs. And this ball came out at the end of the play. It's a live ball picked up by the Illini. Matthew Bailey, the scoop and score.
I think the button may be down. We're going to take a look at the replay here and see if that ball came loose. It's going to be close. They'll take a look at it, but you don't see Giles hanging around there.
James Kreutz knocked it out at the end. Let's take a look.
So that butt gets down, ball still in, ball still in. I think from the other angle, yeah, he's down. It looks like he's down. I don't see that ball moving at all. I'm surprised they haven't whistled this thing down dead yet. With every scoring play being reviewed.
Yeah, they are going to review it. They just buzzed down. Chris Coit, the referee, making the announcement.
Making the announcement, much to the chagrin of the Illini fans here.
Well, it gives us a chance to say hi in a couple of moments here to Mike Pereira for the first time.
Always great. Always great to talk to Mike, and you know he's sharply dressed.
Yeah, well, we're 2 minutes into the game, and we get a chance.
Lucky us, man.
Chat with Mike Pereira. Mike, how you doing? Good to see you, man.
Well, I just wanted to get in early, you know, just in case I wear down toward the end. You know, I like what you're saying is the fact that, you know, the rear is down. Looks to me like he still has control. And, you know, you do appreciate the fact that the officials are going to let it play out when it's close. So in this case, though, I think there's enough for replay to reverse it.
That's been a directive in recent years, right, where officials have been asked, hey, if it's a close call, let it play out?
Yeah, and the situation is because even though if you kill it and you can correct it and make it a fumble recovery, but you can't give an advance. So what they're trying to do is protect it so if there is a legitimate advance, they can get the result of the play. So that's the logic behind it.
We appreciate you, Mike, as always. And as always, the sharpest dressed man in football. Thank you very much.
Sharply dressed and, of course, knowledgeable, our rules expert. Mike Pereira, always great to see him.
So the ball has already been spotted back at the...
After review, the runner was down with control of the ball. It's Michigan State ball, second down.
I was going to say they were probably looking just to double check on the spot, too, because it was close to a first down. It's at the 44-yard line on the Michigan State side of the field, and disaster averted for Aiden Shiles. This has been a Michigan State team. You want to talk about turnovers. 11 fumbles on the season, 7 lost. They have the most turnovers of any Big Ten team.
Yeah, and here's your shot opportunity. Second and short. Out of the pistol here, you go heavy run action. Take a shot downfield.
They're just going to try to get the first down here, and it looks like they do with K'Ron Lynch-Adams. Matthew Bailey coming up to get a hand in on the tackle. So here's the Michigan State offense. For the most part, their offensive line has been intact ever since they lost 2 starters early this season, but a bunch of underclassmen there as well. And Nick Marsh, again, will be the focus here today. A couple of spectacular toe-tap sideline catches against Indiana a couple of weeks ago. Nate Carter checks in at running back. Rolling out, it's Childs, and this ball will fall incomplete. Daniel Brown, Seth Coleman watching the quarterback there as you take a look at the Illini defense. Once again, they've struggled to contain the run at times here this year. It's been a bounce back otherwise, averaging just 21 points per game against.
Yeah, and I think that Seth Coleman may have gotten one of those big old paws on that pass attempt by Aiden Childs when he was trying to hit Nick Marsh. Aaron Henry, just so much fun to talk to on the defensive side of the ball, and he's talked about losing Dylan Rosiak at linebacker and what that has done.
That was a big, big loss last game for Illinois. One of their top leaders, one of their top linebackers out for the season with a broken leg. And like a lot of teams, banged up in a couple of other positions, but the bye week certainly helps. So this will be a 3rd down and 7 here with Coleman. A big focal point here, and we'll see a couple different linebackers rotate in and out.
Yeah, and you see number 39 along defensive line, normally a linebacker, Kenenna Odeluga. Aaron Henry said they'd like to use him in pass rush situations when they go to their nickel type looks.
Here comes a 4-man rush, and they get to the quarterback. And down goes Childs, Gabe Ackus, with his 8th sack of the season, one of the top linebackers in the Big Ten, and it's 4th down.
Going to see Ackus lined up here, and he just gets a move to the inside of Ashton Lepo, the right tackle. Just kind of gets his feet caught in cement there. Got to close down that inside. You always got to cut off the most dangerous route of a pass rusher, and that's where Lepo made the mistake. And of course, Aiden Childs is the one that had to pay for it.
Hank Beatty, the deep man for Illinois, as Ryan Eckley will punt this away. From the 15, Beatty slips a tackle across the 25 and down to the 27-yard line. Punting will be something to keep an eye on for Michigan State with an injured long snapper. Childs brought down. The Illinois defense coming up with a stop. Senior Day here in Champaign. Always awesome to see the ceremonies prior to the game. Today's game flow sponsored by Progressive. Illinois' offense back on the field, just 1 yard, a 3 and out for the Illini, their first series. Quick pass from Luke Altmaier. And it looks like they're going to get close to the marker here as they hit Hank Beatty for the first time this afternoon.
Going to throw this right into the blitz, and this is something Barry Lunney, the offensive coordinator, talked about, having answers built inside of the play, especially answers for those chaos type opportunities from the defense. Throw right into the blitz.
Going to be a free play here. Altmaier, a pass behind the intended target, but it'll be an offside against the defense, and Dequan Dowse, who jumped.
Offside with that defense, number 994, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, Joe Rossi said that Dequan Dowse is one of those twitchy guys. Just got a little got twitchy a little bit too fast there along the defensive line. No excuse when you're right over the ball like that.
Some penalties have been an issue from time to time for Michigan State this year. More so in the first half of the season. A free 5 yards for Illinois here. Josh McCray in the backfield. As Altmaier checks the play. On first down, Altmaier with time to pass, taking a shot downfield, got his man! Pat Bryant to the house! 57 yards for Illinois, and the Illini are off and running.
A perfect example of the maturity from quarterback Luke Altmyer, and he saw the look that he wanted. He knew Pat Bryant was going to be matched up against Angelo Gross, playing in that slot position, and said, hey, that's a perfect opportunity to take the shot. We like that man-to-man opportunity, and we're going to take it. And that's something Barry Lunney said. The development of Luke Altmyer, seeing what he really likes from an offensive perspective and being able to change the play at the line of scrimmage.
8th touchdown of the season for Bryant, the top receiver for the Illini, top 5 in the Big Ten. He took it on the run, and Illinois is up 7-zip.
Welcome back to Champaign. Illinois up a touchdown. We're going to show you how they got that touchdown. I want you to watch the position of the safety here, and Angelo Gross is going to be covering in the slot. He's going to be covering Pat Bryant. He's got outside leverage. Bryant makes a quick move to the inside, but because that safety is so far to the inside, no chance to get up over Pat Bryant. Clear air for Luke Altmyer. Nice drop in the bucket. Didn't get too aggressive with that throw, but he really liked that look. You could see he changed that play at the line of scrimmage. He was signaling to the offense, moved the back over to the other side. They had 2 tight ends over to that right side, so you had those safeties kind of bossed over because of that heavy run action look, and they took advantage of it.
And after a first series that netted them just 1 yard, ended in a sack. Illinois gets a quick hitter. And Michigan State will see the field once again. Their offense that, again, got off to a good start against Indiana. They're up 10-zip, and you're thinking, okay, might have something brewing there. But both sides of the ball, it just fell apart, and penetration from the Hoosier defense became a huge issue. Michigan State allowed 7 sacks against Indiana, 3 on Childs and 4 on the backup, Tommy Schuster.
Yeah, and that's something that's plagued them all season long. 113th in the nation. Sacks allowed this year. So some problems on that offensive line.
Hand off on first down. Carter can't get to the outside. Ripped down for a loss by Ryan Mead. Campbell Trophy nominee earlier this season and a loss of 2.
Well, we talk about the loss of Dylan Rosiak at that linebacker spot, but watch Ryan Mead here to get that little wrong shoulder type movement in there. Nate Carter doesn't try and cut it up inside, although that's probably where the block really intended that to go. You want that little kick out from that puller. You want your back to go up inside, but a nice job by Mead keeping that outside arm free.
Childs on second down hits Carter, but he'll set up a 3rd down and long here for Michigan State. Trying to get Childs a little bit more manageable distance. They feel he's forced things when he wound up in 3rd down and long.
Look at the wholesale change that you get from that Illinois defense. You got 5 new players coming on the field, and this is worst case type scenario for Michigan State offense because of those problems that they've had on that offensive line.
Childs to pass, running out of time, steps up in the pocket and takes off. It's a 1st down and more for Childs across the 45. He does have terrific speed once he gets going, and they like to feature it from time to time.
Well, this is why you have to be so disciplined when you're rushing a quarterback like Childs. You cannot rush past his depth, and that's what you saw from Gabe Akis and Kenenna Onaluga. Both of those guys rushed past him, and he's quick as a hiccup, man. I mean, he's a tall, lanky guy, but he's got some quicks.
Gain of 16. 1st down approaching midfield for Childs. Rolls to his right. Takes a deep shot. He's got Isaiah Johnson. Touchdown, Michigan State. 52 yards for the Spartans to answer.
And I love this play design from Brian Lindgren. You're going to get Aiden Childs. Starts in the pocket, moves quickly to the outside. And then Isaiah Johnson, who they thought was going to have some opportunities today because of the heavy man-to-man that you see from this Illini defense, thought he was going to have some opportunities, but Xavier Scott kind of just gets his eyes back into the backfield and allows Johnson to get behind him.
The time of year where you get opportunities from injuries. The extra point, no good. Michigan State getting a 52-yard touchdown, and the usually reliable Jonathan Kim misses the PAT. But the redshirt freshman Isaiah Johnson has Michigan State on the board, 7-6.
Well, we're going to take a look at that Spartan touchdown here. You're going to have a little miscommunication on the back end for the Illini. You're going to see safety go to the inside with Foster. We talked about Xavier Scott. He allows Isaiah Johnson to go by because he thinks there's going to be safety help back there. And that's just what happens back in the secondary. And, you know, Aaron Henry has talked about how these guys have communicated well all year. One little mix-up, though, on the back end. It can be 6.
Well, those little fine margins have plagued Illinois a bit. Drive summary brought to you by the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, December 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. 4 plays, 75 yards, and a career long on the touchdown reception for Isaiah Johnson. Second longest pass play of the season for Michigan State. But they missed the extra point. And again, they're without their starting long snapper here, and that's been an issue since that injury. Khalil Valentine checks in the backfield for Illinois. And Valentine will get the call, the true freshman. Maybe a gain of a half yard here on first down. Illinois, who can clinch a winning season here today. They've had losing records 2 of the last 3 years, knocked out of the top 25 after 10 straight weeks in the poll. Lost to Minnesota their last time out. Valentine in motion now as Altmaier checks the play and wants him back across the field. All the way to the other side.
Go motion this way.
Yeah.
Empty the other way.
Not the short side, the wide side. Here's Pat Bryant.
Oh.
And Bryant nearly got away. Would have had a big gain, but Cal Haladay tracked him down.
Yeah, and you see Melvin Priestley, the big right tackle, another one of those transfers that came in this year along with J.C. Davis. Both of those bookend tackles came in this year, and Priestley was the lead blocker on that one on that screen. He was upset.
Going quickly here. And Altmaier to pass on third down. Pumps, flinches, rolls, and takes off for a first down. Out across the 40-yard line. And Altmaier, ball security's been an issue, so I'm sure they were thinking, hey, don't expose the ball like that.
I was just getting ready to say that. You called it, partner. Look at him carrying that thing like a loaf of bread, thinking he's Walter Payton carrying the ball. You got to protect that thing, escaping the pocket, but really it was a good decision right there to take off and run. Always a safer option to hang on to it and run for the first down as long as you protect it than to try and make that contested throw.
Extra lineman, the tight end, Arkin, as Valentine gets another carry, slips a tackle, and is brought down just shy of midfield. 5-yard pickup for the freshman. Jalen Thompson, the true freshman, coming up for the tackle. Talk a lot of underclassmen this time of year with injuries, especially for Michigan State defensively. The injuries have piled up with Khalil Majid, Chance Rucker, Dylan Tatum all out for the season.
Yeah, this Illinois offense, we talked about how few seniors there were senior day. 3rd youngest roster in FBS.
Altmaier, his pass is intercepted.
We're going to see if he got the hands underneath it.
Jalen Thompson
is another true freshman.
Currently not in the field is an interception by Michigan State, who is down with possession. It's 1st and 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, the field judge hesitated big time to make a call on that, and ultimately the side judge came in and ruled it an interception.
Well, where's the review centers in Rosemont, isn't it?
Not that far.
Yeah.
We got our replay guys here.
Yeah, I know the replay guys are here, but that's one that could be cleared up pretty quickly, I think. You see the way that thing bounces up off of that turf. Look at him over there. He's nervous. He's like, I know I didn't catch it. Shh, don't say anything. You talk about how quiet Jalen Thompson is, and again, he's another one of those
The pass is incomplete. It's third down.
And Altmaier's been pretty good with his decision making from that standpoint. Just 3 picks thrown this season.
Almost 2 today, though. Now.
Yeah, true. So it'll be 3rd down and 5.
Boy, and one thing, this Michigan State defense, a little unusual. No sacks in the last 5 games.
Right.
That's the longest FBS stretch since 2005. We'll see if they can dial up the pressure here.
Averaging just 1.7 per game. About a 3-man rush there, and a quick slant complete to Franklin, who nearly got away for more. Illinois into plus territory as Franklin is brought down at the 35-yard line, the active leader in the country in receptions.
And Zachary Franklin came in late. You could see that quick movement on the outside, those stutter steps. Nice route.
Quick restart, and a tight end screen to Tanner Arkin as he's tackled across the 30-yard line. And Illinois starting to get a rhythm going. Another pickup of 5.
Yeah, they really are, and they're really mixing things up. You know, the throws to the outside. You got some nice runs up into the middle, little play action. This is something that Barry Lunney talked about. It's the case with most offenses, right? You know, you get into a rhythm, start to feel a lot better, get your playmakers involved in the game early, but really mix things up, especially for a defense that's got so many new faces on the back end, like Michigan State.
Colin Dixon in motion, and a flag for a false start.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the big tight end, Arkin.
You see Arkin. Arkin's on the right side of the line here, actually. It is over on the left side. They called it on Arkin, but I think that might have been J.C. Davis or Geske.
First penalty for Illinois. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Play fake to Valentine as Altmaier rolls and throws, and Arkin is out of bounds. Or as he tries to reel it in, it's actually one of the other tight ends that makes the reception here for Illinois, and Carson Goda. But he was out of bounds. Anthony Jones brought the pressure. 3rd down.
Another opportunity for that Michigan State defense. That 3rd and long. Try and get that sack that's been missing for 5 weeks.
No sacks, no forced fumbles for 5 straight games. Big time confusion here at the line. Play clock winding down as Altmaier resets things. Empty backfield and another false start, it appears.
I think Priestley might have been pulling back there a little bit early.
Offense number 58, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
See Priestley at that right tackle spot, jumping back a little bit early.
Illinois coming into the day top 10 in the nation in terms of fewest penalty yards.
And I think what you really had there is a little confusion. It was probably a pressure type look that Michigan State had not shown. When you get a bye week, you get a few wrinkles, you self-scout and do some things that you hadn't done before. I think Illinois was a little bit confused.
Going in the wrong direction here, all the way back to their own 40. 3rd down and 15. Altmaier to pass, got his man, and they get the 1st down after all of that. Alexander Koepka-Jones. First reception of the season and a gain of 16.
I want you to watch Koepka-Jones at the top of this route. Watch how he ensures that he doesn't get too far back in front of the 1st down marker, because he knows he's going to be a little bit short of it at the catch. That's just great route running right there, and that's great field awareness, not coming back too much to the balls so that you can make that catch, turn up field, and get the 1st down.
Altmaier already up over 100 passing yards today. 1st down after a couple of penalties for Illinois. Valentine having to navigate tight quarters, getting the handoff here, and he's brought down inside the 20, and Illinois marching their way into the red zone.
We talked about the run game being a factor today. We talked about McCray and talked about Lawfrey, and got the young freshman Valentine in there running that ball.
It's been running back by committee ever since losing Fagan for the season. But everybody's getting some touches. Valentine again here in the backfield. Aiden Fagan was their leading rusher through the first 5 weeks of the season. Unavailable since shut down for the year with hip surgery. Underneath, it's Zachary Franklin. And that'll set up a 3rd down and short. Nakai Martinez with a tackle.
Yeah, Joe Rossi, defensive coordinator, Michigan State, he talked about Nakai Martinez, just how physical he is coming up from that safety spot, negotiating the traffic to make that tackle on a great player. Franklin looked like he was hobbling a little bit on that coming off the field.
Keep an eye on that. Illinois 3 for 4 on 3rd down this afternoon. Handoff for Valentine. He's got it. Actually, it's Josh McCray getting his first touch of the game. I beg your pardon on that. McCray, who's emerged as their top volume guy since Fagan's injury. Burst onto the scene a couple of years ago and starting to recapture that form.
We talked about his size difference too. Lawfrey just a shade over 200 pounds. And of course, Valentine, not even 200 pounds. McCray, bowling ball, 240 pounds.
There's McCray again, searching for the edge. Stiff arm inside the 5, reaching for the pylon. Touchdown, Illinois. Josh McCray stretching out to get the score.
Sometimes it's BYOB. Be your own blocker on the outside, and that's what you're going to see from McCray right here. Watch the stiff arm against the freshman Jalen Thompson. And then able to walk the tightrope with that big body to get it in for 6.
Couple of season-ending injuries for McCray the last couple years. A neck injury last year, significant knee injury the year prior. After a breakout freshman season all the way back in 2021, McCray is back to his previous self. In Illinois, 13 plays, 75 yards. Even with the penalty trouble, methodically marching downfield, and the Illini extend the lead.
Tomorrow, right here on Fox, we've got a great slate of NFL action coming your way. Catch NFC North rivals going head-to-head as Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears, or Seahawks battle the Niners. All coming up tomorrow, right here on Fox. Check for the game in your area.
Where's Tommy Boy at? Legitimately, I don't know.
You know, it's funny when you said that a few weeks ago about Tommy Boy, and it was making me think of Chris Farley, Tommy Boy. Zielinski Motors.
Yeah.
That was Zielinski Motors was based somewhere here in Illinois too, right?
Everybody bundled up. Home finale for the Illini.
Sorry, I'm making a reference to a movie when you were like 6 or 7.
I at least understand. I just remember it vividly. This will be fair caught at the 10-yard line. As we take a look at today's player resume, sponsored by Indeed. We haven't seen Nick Marsh involved yet. They're trying to double him up a little bit to start the day.
Yeah, they certainly are. And again, we talked about him in the open, and been overshadowed by Williams at Alabama and Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. But this guy just pops off of the film, and you just go back and you look at that. It was the only touchdown that Michigan State had a week ago. It was an unbelievable throw by Aiden Childs where only Marsh could get it, but Marsh did a great job with the body control, catches the ball cleanly with his hands.
Childs to pass, a dangerous one intended for Marsh. And it falls incomplete. You talk about Marsh and where he stands. I mean, he's making a case to be freshman All-America, 3rd most receiving yards per game among FBS freshmen. He needs just 8 more receptions to break a program record for receptions by a true freshman. He's already set the yardage record by a true freshman at Michigan State, topping Cody White's mark set in 2017.
And one of the reasons Jonathan Smith likes this job is the talent right here in Michigan, or the talent in Michigan.
Yeah, in the state. recruiting-wise. K'Ron Lynch Adams here gets a first down for the Spartans on a gain of 12. It's a different approach than what they had, and I know a lot of Michigan State fans, especially coming off a loss to Indiana and the season that they've put together with a first-year head coach in Curt Cignetti, and obviously just an incredible year for Indiana. But they're thinking long-term, and they know that they've had some tumultuous off-field stuff with this program that they need to flush out as well. It's a bit of a fresh start in a lot of ways for Michigan State football. Play action, Childs. It's a first down with Jaron Glover. Across the 45-yard line, Xavier Scott pushes him out of bounds, a gain of 12. And that might take us to the end of the quarter. Looks like it will. So Glover with his first reception of the day. And Michigan State is driving, trying to answer back with Illinois, up 14-6 on Senior Day here in Champaign. Big Ten standings, sponsored by Discover. There's a lot of a logjam after the top 4. It's a bit unwieldy when you got 18 teams. By the way, who would have predicted UCLA would have a better conference record than USC, and USC would be between Northwestern and Maryland over on the right side of the page there?
How crazy is that? We had USC in Maryland.
Yeah, that's right.
Earlier this season, and the band had the flags for all the teams. Like they were marching out, and they barely you needed a Canadian football field to fit all those flags across. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy how everything has changed. And forget about predicting teams from year to year. There's too much turnover.
And then a salary cap, which is a whole other weird thing to be talking about. K'Ron Lynch Adams with a hurdle across midfield. Tell you what, though, Illinois, the little break between quarters, though, couple of stops here to set up a third down and long. No gain on that play for Michigan State.
And here you go, that wholesale change that they like on third down. They bring in a fresh new package, and you talk about Kenenna Odeluga, number 39, normally plays a linebacker spot, and here you can see him lined up. They line him up on the interior like a 3 technique, a rush from the inside.
Illinois showing blitz here. It'll be a 4-man rush instead. Childs unable to get an option downfield. He tried to complete to the flat to K'Ron Lynch Adams, and it went nowhere. Matthew Bailey was there for Illinois. It's a loss of 3, and it's 4th down.
And the Illini fans have heard that a lot this season. Matthew Bailey on the tackle again, coming up from that safety spot. And that was a great tackle, great open field tackle. Not allowing any gain right there. And that's how, Matthew Bailey, I mean, you see him lined up sometimes as a linebacker. He's just such a physical player at that safety spot. But sometimes you get a little bit tough when those open field tackles did a nice job breaking down.
Missed most of last year with injury after a brilliant freshman season. Get the punt away with Ryan Eckley. And great kick coverage downfield, but we're going to have a flag here. 2 of them come in as Hank Beatty makes the reception. Avion Gross, one of the reserve DBs on a special teams play, but we'll check the penalty.
Yeah, and Illinois almost got to Eckley. Eckley had the punt blocked a week ago, and then on the high snap.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick. Kicking team number 30. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first.
I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye a fair catch call, but let me see here.
I thought he had started to return it.
Yeah.
I don't know where the signal comes in.
Oh, he didn't even give a chance to catch it. Yeah.
Okay. Got to have that little, not that official halo. Got to have give him an opportunity to make that catch, though.
That's what it is. All right. So it'll be Illinois ball. And after the penalty yardage is tacked on, they'll be all the way up at the 30-yard line. Handoff on first down. And this will be a nice run for Aiden Lawfrey, redshirt sophomore. 5 carries, 2 receptions last game against Minnesota, but they want to feed him a little bit more today.
Boy, just nobody home on the backside of the defense. You can see Cal Halliday coming up to fill from that linebacker spot. And that's just getting the fit wrong. Losing contain.
Play action. Altmaier down the seam, into coverage, incomplete. Tracking it the whole way, Nakai Martinez, and nearly had a play on it.
Boy, he nearly had a play on Pat Bryant's rib cage. You can see Pat Bryant, he pulls those arms down late. He knows that thing's coming, man. And you called it, partner, Martinez, and that's because Altmaier just hung that thing up just a little bit too much. And you can see Pat Bryant smiling on the sideline like, yep, still got them ribs.
Second down, Altmaier to pass to the near side, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Hank Beatty. And it's third down.
Well, this is the art of play calling sometimes, right? This is something Barry Lunney talks about. And when teams get off schedule, you kind of get away from your run, and now you put yourself in a position. You got a 3rd and 10. Remember, Michigan State, still no sacks. This would be 6 games in a row without a sack. Ideal situation here, obvious passing down.
They bring 5, Altmaier scrambling, throwing, and he throws it away. And Michigan State's defense with a 3 and out, even after Illinois had the short field, they can't do anything with it. They'll have to punt.
Yeah, Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, dials up a little corner blitz on that one, trying to bring pressure from different areas. Again, we talked about no sacks over the last 5 games. Illinois did a nice job picking that up. Angelo Gross, playing from that safety spot, did a nice job shadowing Altmaier and forcing an errant throw.
Just to beg your pardon, not a 3 and out after the run on first down. To begin the sequence, fair catch inside the 10. As Foster, a nice punt. Be a long field for Michigan State.
Let's face it, there's an in-state rivalry, and I appreciate in-state rivalries. I think those things are meaningful. It's a great thing about college football is to have a rivalry like that.
Jonathan Smith knows a thing or two about an in-state rivalry. Now, a long way to go to try to catch Michigan. Remember, Sparty was there in 2021, but the last couple of years under Mel Tucker, and of course there was some off-field stuff, a lot of it going on there. But look at what he did at Oregon State. They tracked down the Ducks over a multiple-year span. And that Oregon State program, by the time Jonathan Smith left it, it was a slow build, but year after year, they got better. They recruited guys very specifically tailored to that program, and they became right there with Oregon.
Yeah, and much tougher to do it in Corvallis than it's going to be to do in East Lansing. I mean, you've got a tradition with the program. Obviously, Mark D'Antonio did a great job, and, they've risen up. At times in the history of the program and challenged Big Brother, as Mike Hart liked to say, with the little brother comment. Well, so but I think that he has the right mindset coming in, but a good talent base to recruit from.
Childs running out of time. He's brought down. Nothing doing downfield, and he's sacked for a loss of 2.
Okay, Backus. That Illinois defense learned their lesson from earlier in the game. Don't rush past the quarterback depth, and they really wanted to bottle him up right there. And that's what you do as a defense. You really need to have a planned rush attack against a guy like Aiden Childs. Make sure that he can't escape the pocket.
Lynch Adams in the backfield here on 2nd down and 12. Childs, pass play, got it. Isaiah Johnson across the 25 as he's pushed out of bounds here. We're talking about Michigan State. They won 11 games in 2021. They haven't won more than 5 in a season since. And the target here, win 2 out of 3 to close the season, clinch bowl eligibility. Why is that important? Well, you think Mark D'Antonio and that era. He started with a 7-6 record his first year, but built off of that, eventually getting a college football playoff berth and 3 Big Ten titles in a 6-year span. Got to start somewhere. And they blow this play dead. Timeout taken by Illinois.
Yeah, and you talk about the way that the program changed just from last year, and of course, you know, with the Mel Tucker controversy, difficult in that.
Illinois is challenging the rule of a catch on the previous play. The play is under review.
You have to review there. Illinois challenging the catch on the previous play. So we'll see if it's going to remain 3rd and 6 here. We're going to have. Yeah, that's a catch. He wasn't going to the ground. Got a couple steps in.
Yeah, that's what I was counting.
Football move.
That's what I was counting, Mike. I was counting the steps after making that initial grab. Is that the right way to go about it?
Yeah, well, steps are just really an indicator because it's not like the NFL, but it is an indicator of time. And you can see that he gets 1, 2, 3, turns upfield, tucks the ball away, and he's really still got it until he hits the ground here. So at some point, that element of time is over, and so that's a kind of a worthless challenge.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of a waste there, right? I mean, you know, and certainly you're surprised that, again, that it takes this amount of time. I know that they have the review center.
After review, the ruling of a catch is confirmed. Illinois is charged its first timeout and may not challenge for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, that's significant.
You just waste your challenge on that, and you lose the timeout.
Yeah, Mike Pereira, that was a. I completely agree with what he said about that.
Well, here you go, though. Now, Brett Bielema is not looking at the scoreboard and saying, hey, I should challenge that. Somebody is getting information to him and saying, hey, you should challenge that. So that guy's got to be on top of their job as well.
Might be a meeting or two about that this week. 3rd down and 4. Childs being tracked down, backpedaling, and it's caught by Johnson across the 35 as he spins and is brought down by Xavier Scott. Gain of 11, but a flag is thrown. It seemed to be near where he came out of his break. We'll see.
There was a holding in the secondary as well.
Pass interference. Offense number 6. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Yikes, that's a big one.
Woo, the true freshman, Nick Marsh. Talked about how physical he was. Defensive coordinator Aaron Henry. And yeah, wow, that's a tough one. You know, the old, depends on if you're an offensive player, the rub play, or defensive player, you call that the pick play, but you've got to make some attempt to make it look like a route.
Well, but it almost seemed like he was funneled there by Torrey Cox. That's a big penalty, and just yardage-wise, look at where this ball is now. All the way back to the Michigan State 13.
Watch the screen, watch the draw.
Giles scanning downfield, completes underneath. Johnson tried to round the corner, but that'll be well short of the first down, and Michigan State will have to punt. That's a tough penalty to take to end the drive like that. Tough penalty to call. And Beatty, the deep man here for Illinois, as the Spartans will punt.
Look, and I know defensive coaches get upset and they have the conversations before games with the officials. You know, both sides do that, right? Like, hey, you got to watch these guys. They cheat all the time. You say, okay, well, watch for these rub routes. These guys are known for this. I better see a flag today. And somebody decided to accommodate the coach.
Ryan Eckley, line drive punt. Beatty from the 32 slips a tackle and is knocked out at the 36-yard line. 50-yard punt, short field for Illinois when we come back. Senior day here in Champaign. A couple ceremonies prior to the game. Now, COVID and the red shirt things have made it so that you can stay in college a while. Ezekiel Holmes, he's been at Illinois since 2018. How about Dennis Briggs, who started at Florida State a long time ago as he jogs out to the field. A 7th-year senior.
Amazing.
Look at his picture from back in 2018 when he was in Tallahassee. 2 redshirt seasons, a COVID bonus year, and yes, we are sure it's his final year. Well, at least I thought it coming in that I'm pretty sure that it's his final year.
Yeah,
maybe there's an 8th somewhere out there. I don't know.
Illinois, only 14 last year players, and that's tied with Iowa State for the fewest in the Power 4. So a lot coming back on this team.
And they've strategically used red shirts for their freshmen the last couple of seasons to try to keep them, get them extra playing time, get another year of development. McCray with the carry here.
Going some tempo again.
Yep, Anthony Jones at the tackle there. McCray in the backfield. Altmaier to pass. As he pumps and hits his running back. Check down. A flag comes in as McCray is wrestled down to the 46-yard line. And we'll check the penalty marker after a gain of 6.
It might be on
Personal foul, illegal hands
hand to the face with
defense
Geske.
number 55. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Yeah, he's working against Geske here, and I thought they were throwing the flag with that left arm up on the shoulder pad there, but it's that hands to the face they're going to throw the flag for. Good call there. And yes, you can call holding on every play, just degrees of holding. But a good call there.
Illinois into Michigan State territory after the penalty. McCray on the sweep, and he has a blocker with him. Actually, beg your pardon, it's Valentine. McCray was the blocker, and Martinez with the tackle, only a gain of 2.
And a lot of time you get running backs like you had on that last play with Josh McCray leading up to be a lead blocker on that, and sometimes they just get their eyes a little bit too far to the outside, and you really got to treat it like a running play. You got to keep your eyes on the safeties, and that time, as you mentioned, Martinez came up from that safety spot. He was a guy that needed to block.
Valentine here. I'll set up a 3rd and manageable for Illinois. So we approach 6.5 minutes to play in this second quarter. And Illinois looking to make it a 2-possession lead.
And more about this Illinois program. You know, it's a young program, but over the last few years, I thought this was interesting that, you know, they've produced more than 3 players drafted in the last 2 seasons, and one of only 5 schools to do that. 2 other Big Ten schools did it. One of them wasn't Ohio State, Michigan and Penn State.
Valentine close to the marker. And I believe they're going to mark him short here. And it'll be 4th down. Jordan Turner, one of the captains for the Spartans. Illinois will have a 4th and 1 here. You talk about where this program is at. They still have a chance at a 9-win season if they sweep their final 3 games. They'll play at Rutgers and at Northwestern to finish the year. They haven't had a 9-win season since 2007. Let's see if they keep this drive alive. McCray and Jordan Anderson in the backfield with Altmaier. Actually, it's going to be it's going to be 3-back set here.
Full house backfield.
Yeah. Altmaier trying to sneak it. And it's close.
He's got it based on where the officials are coming in there. That right foot spot.
That's a 1st down. There you go. Haven't moved the chains yet. Now finally they will.
Okay. Michigan State having a little bit of trouble getting lined up here.
A lot of moving around in their backfield.
We talk about all that youth,
right?
Especially in that secondary.
A lot of underclassmen. Altmaier under pressure, throws it away. Chris Bogle brought the heat. Sixth-year senior in his own right. Started his career at Florida, now in his third year with the Spartans.
Yeah, Bogle's another one of those twitchy guys. Asked Joe Rossi. He said, who's the guy, if you're going into a fight, who's that guy that you want to take with you? And wasn't any hesitation. He said, Chris Bogle. He's a big guy, but he's got that mean on him.
Empty backfield. Arkin makes the catch. And he's brought down across the 20-yard line. Another first down for Illinois.
Yeah, nice job by Arkin here. For a tight end, they talk about what good routes he runs. Transferred Division II school. Watch how he just turns right upfield, gets vertical. Don't do anything fancy when you're a tight end. Some tight ends can do it. He's not one of them, though. Arkin knows his strength. Just catch it and get upfield.
Formerly from Colorado State. Former state discus champion in high school. Altmaier's handoff here. It's Laughery. And they'll get a little extra push towards the end of it, picking up 4 on first down. And that clock ticks towards 3.5 minutes remaining. Illinois controlling clock on this drive.
Yeah, this is welcome to Big Ten football, right? With the temperature drop and running the football middle of November, getting into late November. No snow on the ground yet. We can look forward to that. Or at least the people in Champaign can look forward to that. That's what you love about it. And as we look forward to the playoffs and what that's going to mean this year, potentially for some southern teams coming up north.
Laughery across the 10, getting a nice secondary effort. What a push! Laughery inside the 5. That's Big Ten football for you. And it's a 1st and goal for Illinois.
We talked about Laughery being the lightning and the thunder and lightning, but borrows a little thunder on this one. Just kind of lowers that head and keeps those legs churning. They're fast legs, but they're strong legs too. Nice job with the finish there.
That was a good 5 or 6 yards on the push alone. A lot of heavy breathing on the Spartan side.
Yeah, and you talked about it. You said watch the clock ticking, but these are also body blows as well.
Yep.
Wear a defense down.
Altmaier rolling, scanning, throwing, incomplete. Just over 2 minutes to go. We got the 2-minute timeout. 2nd down and goal.
It looked like he was going to try and hit Laughery to the flat immediately. Nice job by that Michigan State defense covering everybody up. See Laughery break into the flat, but Gross has him covered right away, and he tries that late throw back across to Goda.
We talk about the flip side of things too. If Michigan State can somehow get a stop and hold Illinois to a field goal here, that would be massive. They will get the ball to begin the second half. Never mind the 3 timeouts they still have in their pocket. 2nd down here. Altmaier floats this ball. Back shoulder. It is
Got it.
Caught. Touchdown, Illinois. Zachary Franklin. What a grab. And a perfectly weighted ball along the near sideline by Altmaier.
Wow, perfect back shoulder throw, but watch the body control, the field awareness from Zachary Franklin on this one. You see that rubber rooster tail pop up from the left hand. He got both feet in. He's looking around like, did I really do that?
Yeah, he did. What a connection. 12 plays, 64 yards on a clock-eating drive. 6:09 off the clock. They're just going to buzz to the replay room and confirm the touchdown here. Based on our first couple of looks, that looked pretty clear-cut.
Yeah, I think he gets both feet down. It's control right here, fingertip control, but is that ball? Oh, okay, the ball comes loose a little bit, but it looks like both feet are still down. At the very least, that left foot is still on the ground, even if that right one isn't. Because he does double clutch this thing. There.
This is a great look.
He's got the control right there, left foot down. Looks like the right foot might have still been down, and he controls it all the way to the ground. Never loses firm control of the ball.
Mike Pereira, what do you see?
Great shot we got there at the end. To me, there is the bobble on the way to the ground, but then he controls the ball with the foot still down in bounds. And then you look at the process. Does it come loose when it hits the ground? You're going to actually see here there is control. And now beyond that, to me, he maintains control there. I don't see any way that you could reverse this to an incomplete pass.
How about the camera work
it's always
on the sideline? Perfect view. That's exactly what you want.
Perfect. Just like Mike Pereira.
I expect to see that. I expect to see that, by the way, Mike, on next week's video of just the process of the catch on the ground and all that. That was brilliant.
Okay, put that one on the tape for next week.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
After review, the ruling on the field stands is called touchdown.
Stands. Okay.
Mike and Dean Blandino, for the folks at home, they send us a detailed video every single week of things that happened during the week or the week prior. It's a huge help for us. All the work that they do, obviously, in game. Illinois with a clock-eating drive, controlling the football, and a brilliant throw and catch from Altmaier to Franklin to cap it off. And the Illini have a 21-6 lead over Michigan State in their home finale.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime before next week's showdown with undefeated Indiana, Ohio State faces Northwestern. Number 3 Texas in an old school Southwest Conference battle at Arkansas. And Colorado continues their Big 12 title game push against Utah. Alex and Robert, we'll see you fellas at the half.
All right, Mike. See you in just a little bit. We have 1 second, so it's always the dreaded double up where you kick and then go back to commercial, so you'll have to bear with us on that front. Dejected faces on the Spartan sideline defensively. That was a demoralizing drive if you're a Spartan fan.
Yeah, there's no question about it. When it's physical like that, they're just pushing you around. It can certainly be demoralizing.
Have one snap here offensively, and then we'll hit the 2-minute timeout. But now it's up to this Michigan State offense, which has scored the fewest second half points in the Big Ten, averaging just a little over 7 per game in the second half. And how about that? Only 2 plays in opposition territory. I go back to that pick play that wound up being an offensive pass interference that derailed their last drive. They looked like they were finally starting to get in gear. Nate Carter. It's a nice run on first down. And keep in mind, Michigan State does have all 3 of their timeouts. So we hit the 2-minute timeout here in Champaign. Illinois in control. Can Michigan State change something about this first half? We'll find out. And Friday night, Sparty will be back in action. This time on the big network, Fox College Football Friday. Purdue at Michigan State. And the Spartans again with bowl eligibility still hanging in the balance here. The action kicks off at 8 Eastern next Friday, only on Fox. Smattering of Spartan fans in the stands here today. 3 timeouts for Michigan State, trailing 21-6 as we approach the end of the first half. 21-6 Illinois. Childs across the 35, scampers out for first down. That stops the clock with 1:49 to go in the half.
Yeah, and it was good to see them get that run game going. I mean, Nate Carter, man, that guy can move. I mean, his lateral movement, his spin moves, his desire. I'm surprised they haven't been able to get him cranked up more in the last game against Indiana. I'm going on first down there, and the legs of Childs can be a threat.
Here's Marsh.
First catch.
Yep. He had the big pass interference penalty. That's the first reception of the afternoon for Marsh. A pickup of 7.
This is exactly what they needed, though, right? I mean, you start off with a couple of runs, first by Carter, then by Childs, and you get the ball out to your true freshman playmaker, Nick Marsh. In a good rhythm on this drive.
On second down, handoff for Carter. Actually, it's going to be kept by Childs. It's a pretty convincing fake. And Childs with a first down into Illinois territory, 8-19.
And I like the change here because, you know, when you go to zone read, a lot of times the quarterback's going to keep it and go to the outside. That's more of that inverted veer that we used to see from Auburn.
Spartans going quickly. Dangerous throw, but it's caught by Marsh across the middle. That's another first down for Michigan State at the 20-yard line.
And watch how cleanly Marsh catches this with his hands. I love the throw from Childs. See Marsh catch that thing away from his body.
Pass behind Marsh this time. That'll stop the clock with 1:16 to go.
Not sure if that thing got tipped. What happened there? It was an unusually poor throw for Mr. Childs. I mean, like any young quarterback, right? You're going to have some inconsistency issues. And you know, talking to Brian Lindgren, the offensive coordinator, talk about footwork and matching that footwork up to the timing of the routes. Having some issues with that from time to time, but like he had his feet set perfectly there. It might have been tipped.
Go back to Marsh. It's off his hands, incomplete. Took his eye off the ball as he went to turn upfield, and it's third down.
Oh, the true freshman, you want to get that one back, but you can't get them back. You know, just the details of catching the football, and I think you're right. You just can't assume. As good as a wide receiver as you are, you still have to look that ball all the way in.
Third down here, and an important moment of the game for Michigan State.
I think you don't necessarily have to get the full yardage. You may still go for it on fourth down rather than kicking.
Childs to pass, incomplete. He was under duress. Gabe Ackus brought the pressure, and it's fourth down.
Childs sees Ackus, escapes from the pocket, can't get his feet set, throws that thing a little bit sooner than he wants. And you know, that's one where Lindgren, the offensive coordinator, said, you know, you don't like him moving too much from his spot when he gets pressured, but there he had absolutely no choice because Ackus was all over him. Just not able to get an accurate throw.
Jonathan Kim from 38. And he's got it. Drilled that one. So 62 seconds left in the half. And Michigan State trims the deficit to 12. Keep in mind, Michigan State with all 3 timeouts here, so could very well get the ball back here. But again, it's, you know, small details, right? As good as that drive was for Sparty, a bad throw from Childs behind Marsh, and then a dropped ball, and that's all it takes for the drive to fizzle out.
Well, you're absolutely right. And, you know, you never know what those plays are going to be before a game starts. You don't have that luxury, and that's why coaches harp on it. You know, especially when you have a bye week, you do that self-scouting. You go back into fundamental periods, and at this time of year, you know, everybody's a little bit banged up. Season's long, obviously, but all of those details matter, and you just end up killing drives.
After opening up 3-0 to begin the season, Michigan State's lost 5 of 6. You kind of see why. Taken a yard deep by Wilcher across the 20. And Illinois with 57 seconds will send their offense back to the field. So far this first half for Luke Altmaier, just looking at his numbers, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, continues to take care of the ball. 215 total yards of offense for Illinois. And they've spread the ball around in terms of both receivers and running backs, for that matter. 4 carries for Lawfrey, 3 for McCray, 5 for Valentine. Quick hitter to the outside for Franklin. And that'll stop the clock with 53 seconds, a gain of 4. And apparently that green dot might not be working, so they'll have to go back to the manual signals for Altmaier.
We've heard that from so many coaches this year, and of course, first full year, had it available. Some teams in the bowl games last year. First year with everybody having it. You always got to be ready as a backup plan with those signals.
Cray sent in motion. Altmaier goes this way, finds Franklin, and he's tackled shy of the first down. And the clock will move here. 45 seconds. Michigan State hanging on to their timeouts. I don't quite understand this.
A little surprised that they would have called it there.
And Illinois is going to run a play quickly here, which is also a surprise. Altmaier to pass, it's incomplete. Got to talk about poor clock management on both sides here, because Michigan State is going to get the ball back. I don't understand that at all. As they snapped the ball with what, 20 some odd seconds left on the play clock?
Well, you're kind of in that no man's land, though, too. If you're the Illinois offense, I mean, you're thinking about getting in position yourself. You convert there, and you got an opportunity to get some extra points on there, too. So you can see why they snapped it, but I don't understand why Michigan State didn't stop it.
Right. Foster, high spinning kick, fair caught, just shy of the 30-yard line. 3 timeouts, 18 seconds. They will have the ball to begin the second half. Might be a moot point, all the clock management stuff, but either way. 70 yards to maybe get within field goal range. Keep in mind, Kim has a pretty good leg. Season long of 55 for him. I'd say his range probably begins about the 42-yard line, somewhere in there. In fact, Kim had 6 field goals in a single game against Iowa. Michigan State, their last victory. You could just kneel. I don't get it. That's just me. I don't get it. But either way,
I figured they're going to get the ball in the second half. But being down like this, I thought they would have called a timeout to have a little bit of extra time to take another shot.
Yeah. Well, either way, all's well that ends well, especially if you're an Illinois fan. As we end the first half here in Champaign, the Illini with a 21-9 lead over Michigan State. As we send you to Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show, here's Mike Hill.
Yeah, halfway from ending a 2-game slide, they're up 21-9 at the half. As we welcome you to the State Farm halftime show inside our LA studios, it's Chris Peterson, Emmanuel Acho, and Mike Hill hanging out with you. Illinois with the lead because of big plays and a big drive right before the half.
Yeah, I think Illinois has done a nice job of controlling this game. They've had the big pass play, the explosive 57-yarder to Bryant. You see the ending of this drive here. They've had 2 long drives, a 13-play, 75-yard drive, and then they went back on a 12-play, 64-yard drive. The defense has done a nice job. Childs got that one explosive pass play on the little out and up to Johnson there. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they've really limited Michigan State. Michigan State goes on a nice drive there before half. You think they're going to score? They force them to kick a field goal. Michigan State's got Kim, the great field goal kicker, but I don't think they're beating Illinois on field goals.
All right, well, Altmaier's having a solid half 14 to 23, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, and being clean. He hasn't been sacked so far in the first half, which has been an issue for him this season. Meanwhile, 4th-ranked Penn State has 3 unranked opponents left on its schedule, starting with Purdue today. Nittany Lions needing some help as well if they want to reach the Big Ten championship game, though, and well, at least they're doing their part. Drew Aller, Katron Allen.
They are. Aller, 2 touchdowns on the day. Hasn't had an incomplete pass yet. 10 for 10. Perfect to start the day.
Just get the ball to this kid right here, the tight end, Tyler Warren. He's a weapon. Penn State up 14-0 on the road right now. It's in the first quarter. Number 2, Ohio State at Wrigley, playing Northwestern. It's a lot of red there. They came and traveled. Quinshon Judkins right there. 1-yard touchdown, tying the game at 7. Ohio State, once again, getting ready for a huge matchup next week. Will Howard finding Jeremiah Smith. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's called good coaching.
Good, yeah. Just having good players to get the football
get the ball to your best players.
Yeah, and Carnell Tate, he's a Chicago native. Really? Scoring 2 touchdowns for his team today.
Really good play by Will Howard there, hanging in there. He had a good game. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Ohio State wins it 31-7. Hey, next Saturday, once again, big noon kickoff. Headed to the Horseshoe. I told you about the big matchup, huge top 5 matchup between the Ohio State University, undefeated Indiana. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox. And you won't want to miss the Black Keys performing live from Columbus. Coach, that's your favorite group right there, right?
Love them. Love them.
You don't want to miss big noon kickoff next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox. Hey, it's going to be a huge matchup. Look at this. It's been dominated by Ohio State. They have owned the Hoosiers. The last 29 meetings, 29 wins for Ohio State. And you see the points per game right there, the differential right there. But this is a different Indiana team. 10-0 for the first time ever in the history of the program. What are you looking forward to the most in this matchup?
I love these matchups. Indiana, what you going to do when nobody's there to save you?
Ooh, okay.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Who do you talk about for Indiana? We talk about the coach. Coach don't step in between the white lines. What are you going to do when you got to guard Jeremiah Smith one-on-one? What you going to do when you got to guard Emeka Egbuka one-on-one? What you going to do when you have to tackle Quinshon Judkins in the open field? What you going to do when you have to see Travion Henderson in the open field? What are you going to do when there's nobody there to save you? Right now, we talk about the coach for Indiana. He just signed a new contract. Congratulations to him. But if I'm one of the Ohio State players, I'm saying there's a reason we got offered to Ohio State and they got offered to Indiana. There's a reason for that. If I'm the Ohio State player, that's what I'm saying. If I'm an Indiana player, I'm saying a whole different story. But what you going to do when nobody's there to save you, that's what I'm looking forward to. Indiana, how you going to fight?
You're kind of saying too many dudes? Too many dudes for Ohio State? I think this. I think Indiana is truly one of the best coach teams that I've seen this year on tape. And so I'm really interested in seeing Ohio State's next progression. There's only a few teams that are on your schedule that you can really say, hey, are we taking a good step here? When they played Oregon, you could see what's going on. When they played Penn State. So now this is the good Indiana team. Is Ohio State taking that next step? Because I think Ohio State can win this whole thing if they keep progressing.
Especially if they continue to play defense the way they played the last couple of weeks. 7 points allowed over the last 2 weeks for Indiana's offense, led by Curtis Rourke. If he's healthy, it's going to be a good matchup. Best point differential in the nation is Indiana, over 31 points per game. They're winning their games. Wow. Hey, Coach Prime and company have their sights set on big things. Buffaloes, they need to win the final 3 games when they're scheduled to reach the Big 12 championship game. They took that first step against Utah in great fashion today. Travis Hunter having another big game. Hey, you have to see how the Clemson-Pitt game ended and what had Panthers coach Pat Narduzzi losing his mind in the fourth quarter. Reminds you ever do that, Coach?
No.
Welcome back to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson, and Mike Hill hanging out with you. Illinois up 21-9 at the half. Hey, Texas moved up third in this week's playoff rankings. Now in the SEC, the Longhorns in a throwback Southwest Conference game today at Arkansas. And Quinn Ewers, your thoughts, Acho?
Shout out to Steve Sarkisian, the coach, for making it easy on Ewers, because when it wasn't made easy on Ewers, Ewers struggled, if I'm being honest. Ewers has to find a way to play sharper. This was a close game all throughout 4 quarters.
Ewers only had 176 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 right there to Matthew Golden, but Jaquindon Jackson got into the end zone. Just a 6-point game here for Ewers.
What a catch right here, Coach Golden. Great hands, great concentration.
I'd like to give a shout-out to Texas defense. 231 total yards, 6 sacks, and 2 turnovers. They're carrying this
thing.
That has
been the story for them. 20-10, they win. Number 20, Clemson, Pitt. This is a good game. Nate Yarnell, Gavin Bartholomew, 8-yard touchdown, and we are tied at 17. But check this out. 4 minutes left to play in the game. Yarnell, sacked by D. Creighton. And there's a reason why Pat Narduzzi's losing his mind. Take another look at this.
I don't know how you miss that.
It happened so fast.
Well, they discussed it. They called the personal foul. Narduzzi loves it. Dabo doesn't. Go ahead, field goal, Pitt up 2017. Now, Cade Klubnik had 329 passing yards, but this was the play of the game for him.
I tell you, he's a ball player, Ach.
Exactly
I really
right,
like
Coach.
this quarterback a lot.
50-yard run right there, giving Clemson the lead, 24-20, so 5 seconds left. Final chance for Pitt.
That was a
Darnell,
false start.
You got to give you guys a chance, right?
Sorry about that, Mike. That was a false start, but refs missed another one there.
Hey, it didn't matter. Clemson wins it 24-20. Hey, Utah, Colorado controls its own destiny. Number 17 in the nation, and here's that man. Nice deflection, though. Travis Hunter comes up with it. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and give it to him. They're up 14-3. It's 14-6 here. Going for it on 4th and 8. They were big on 4th down in this game, especially when you got a guy like Travis right there.
You talk about confidence in your teammate. He just threw it up. Go get it, fella.
Inside the 10, and then Shador, who had another 300-yard, 3-touchdown game to Will Shepherd. Colorado up 21-9 at the half, and then pouring it on the second half. Trick play, Travis Hunter. This is why he's the best player on the field anytime he's on the field.
Runs backwards 15 yards to run forward 5 and get a touchdown. Incredible job.
That was also supposed to be a pass to Shador, and he just improvised.
He's got to be the Heisman frontrunner. Colorado wins it 49-24, and you look at Colorado, man, and what Travis has been able to bring to the team. 132 snaps, man. We haven't seen anything like this in a long time. 55 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. He did get burnt for a touchdown on,
You think he's not human? That just shows he's not a bot. He's a real player.
He's a real player. He's human. He's a straight-A student, too. You can catch Colorado in action again next weekend as the Buffs take on Kansas. That's at 3:30 Eastern. That's next Saturday on Fox. Once again, they control their own destiny in the Big 12. Hey, we've been saying it all season, and it's still true. Ryan Williams is only 17 years old.
When did he turn 18?
I don't know. Does he ever turn 18? He might be aging backwards. Maybe he's the black college football player that's Benjamin Button. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luke Altmaier making things happen right there. He's getting older. Illinois is winning the game.
My feet go boom, 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 walking away from you.
Welcome back to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Notre Dame just trying to roll into the playoffs, number 8 in the nation. Opening kickoff. This is what you call the luck of the Irish.
You could see it coming when he didn't come to balance to catch that kickoff.
Max Hurleman recovers 25 yards, and then 25-yard line, Jeremiah Love takes it in. Only scored a game so far, 12:55 to go in the second quarter. Number 22 LSU trying to bounce back after that beat down by Alabama at Florida. DJ Lagway, Elijah Badger. Gators on top 7-0 against LSU. Speaking of Alabama, number 10 in the nation, taking on Mercer.
Mercer? Ach, what conference is Mercer in?
Coach Mercer is in the Southern Conference. It's a private university. It was founded in 1837, actually. Coach been making Georgia. In case you were wondering, any other questions?
Not really.
Sound like Chat GPT. Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams there, and then Milroe to Robbie. 44-yard touchdown. Milroe, 11-16, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just over half play. He's sitting out the rest of the game. Number 14, SMU.
Black jerseys is something sweet.
Yeah, they're not messing around today.
They're undefeated in the ACC, man. Kevin Jennings, Roderick Daniels Jr.
Jerseys is sweet.
SMU up 10-0. Luke Altmaier, Pat Bryant hooking up for the deep TD right here. Second half between Illinois and Michigan State on the way.
All right, we get ready for the second half here in Champaign. And look at the first half stats. Illinois outgaining Michigan State. And look at the third down mark. Michigan State just 1 for 5 to begin the game. 1 for 5 to begin the game. Sparty will have the ball to begin the second half, but They need to start doing something offensively.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I think those third downs were a big part of it. And you go back to that first half, and you had that huge penalty on the pick play, but then earlier, as we got closer to halftime, you had the incompletion from Childs, and then you had the drop from Marsh as well. So some self-inflicted wounds here really for Michigan State. And of course, we talked about them not taking the timeout. Maybe would have had an opportunity to get some more points after Illinois didn't convert on third down. So yeah, just missed opportunities, but credit Illinois. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Luke Altmaier continues to do a great job protecting the football. Came in to the game, 16 touchdowns against only 3 interceptions. 2 more touchdowns, no interceptions added to that total.
So off we go to begin the second half. And it'll be Michigan State ball. So this Michigan State team, I mentioned earlier, second half, especially third quarter, has been an issue, scoring points. Just 16 total points in the third quarter this year. Dash 50-point differential in the second half. Carter at running back as Childs throws and hits his target across the 40-yard line. Montori Foster, have not called his name much here today. 23 straight games with a reception, and now 1 shy of 100 for his career, and a first down for Michigan State.
Yeah, tremendous job by Childs, setting up very well in the pocket on that one, delivering a strike downfield to Foster. And you know, when you have a second bye, you have an opportunity to kind of do that self-scouting, and you look at what kind of plays you called in the second half of other games and why you struggle with those numbers. Good start here.
On the ground, Lynch Adams. And a good run on first down. Gain of 3. Even a 4th here tacked on at the end. Michigan State substituting here. Team that only averages under 20 points per game this season, coming off a game in which they really struggled to run the ball against Indiana. Second worst rushing total in program history last week. Childs now under center. And he'll hand the ball off on a little reverse here. Foster rounding the corner, tripped up. Otherwise, he would have broken that off for a first down and a whole lot more.
Torrey Cox. Love this play right here, man. Coming up from that corner spot. Nice physical play. You don't always see that from your cornerbacks. Nice job recognizing, triggering, coming up and making a nice open field tackle.
Spartans quickly over the ball. 3rd down and 2. Right at midfield. And off Lynch. Adams is bottled up and brought down in the backfield. Tackle made by T.Raw Edwards, and it's 4th down.
Oh, T.Raw Edwards, what a great story he is. They had him speak to the team a couple weeks ago.
He earned captain's honors this week in the wake of the injury to Dylan Rozier.
And watch the quick movement by T-Rod, and Aaron Henry, the defense coordinator, says, man, he's just that dirty work guy, becoming more vocal here as his career wraps up.
Going for it on 4th. Childs backpedaling, scanning, running back screen. And it's going to be Foster, actually, who brings it down. That is his 100th reception in his career, and a much-needed first down.
You see Montori Foster lining up in the slot here. Get that little rub route. Nice play design there. You could see Illinois, they weren't going man-to-man on that one. They were playing zone, but they couldn't get eyes on Foster quickly enough. Foster out of the Cleveland area. Perennial powerhouse St. Edwards.
Childs to pass this way, hits Foster again. Foster a little stutter step, and he's tiptoeing the sideline inside the 20. Going to be marked out at the 13-yard line of Illinois. A first down for Michigan State.
Yeah, and watch Xavier Scott, number 14, come up and try and punched this ball out instead of going for the tackle. We've been calling Foster's name here a lot in the second half. Guys just assuming he's going to step out, but Foster does a nice job tight roping to get the extra yards.
Up over 1,300 plus yards for his career. And a drive that Michigan State sorely needed. Carter in the backfield here with Childs under center on first down. Carter gets the call, knocks down the first man, gets to the second level, and is inside the 5. A gain of 8.
Ashton Lepo, the right tackle. 2 for 1 here, baby. Love that. Watch him get the down block there. And he gets a block on Kanena Odeluga. You love that, man. That tackle. When you get a guy like that at a tackle that has those kind of feet that get up to the second level, you can do some damage.
Childs ripped down. Mac Rusetić up from the safety spot. His first start with the Illini. Third down.
Yeah, and it's tough. You can see Rusetić eyes all the way, and he's watching those hips. The hips don't lie, right? Don't go for all those shoulder fakes, those head fakes. Just listen to Shakira.
Lynch Adams here in the backfield as they send Foster in motion. On third down, Childs scanning, rolling, in trouble, throws this one away. Under pressure from T-Raw Edwards. Those two chirp at one another. Fourth down.
He's been doing that a couple times on this drive, and Tanner Miller, the center, was locked up with T-Raw Edwards, who's that traditional zero-nose type guy. Space eater in the middle of the defense, but really great feet as well.
Gonna go again here on fourth. Already converted one on this drive.
Marsh, all kinds of space on the left side. They got him isolated.
Timeout called by Michigan State.
And you had Caleb Patterson, safety nickel. He moves out to that corner spot. He had him matched up there, but Nick Marsh just had all kinds of room. I would be surprised if Illinois doesn't try change things up defensively.
Well, we've already seen on this drive, Robert. I mean, this is a Michigan State team that is searching desperately for growth week to week. A team that was 1 for 4 on fourth down last game against Indiana. Finally, it looks like this drive they get the run game going, a little distribution to a couple of different targets. We have yet to see Marsh targeted on this drive. Where do you go here on a 4th down and 2?
Well, I try and do the same thing. I try and isolate Marsh. I mean, especially with college hashes the way that they are, you get all that kind of space, and here they are. They're going to put him on the right side here, maybe try and get him in motion. But either way, they want to try and get him isolated, get all the other eligibles away from him to have the safeties move.
Childs on 4th down, pumps, throws, has his man. It's a touchdown for Michigan State. Nate Carter, I beg your pardon, makes the catch. Stymied last week, a big part of the drive here. And a huge score for the Spartans.
And I love what Aiden Childs does here. You see him looking to the left there, working his way through his progression. Looked like he was going to take a shot to Nick Marsh on the outside. He's like, oh, wait a second, got Carter underneath. Carter getting those hands away from the body. A nice clean catch from the running back.
10 plays, 75 yards for Michigan State. One of the better looking drives they've had this year. And it's a 5-point game.
We got ourselves a ball game here, ladies and gentlemen.
Childs to Carter. 21-16. All right, coming up next here on FS1, Rutgers. What a second half fall off they've had trying to stem the tide here as they take on Maryland. Then tonight, Washington State And the Cougs, they will take on New Mexico tonight at 9:30 Eastern on FS1. Alex Faust, Robert Smith here with you. Illinois leading Michigan State 21-16. Pretty strong start to the half for Michigan State. So that side of the ball, they had some pretty good rhythm. Now, can they stop this Illinois team that marched down the field methodically to pad the lead at the time to 21-6?
Yeah, and we've talked about it a few times today. Michigan State this year really had trouble, or they really have had trouble generating any kind of pressure from their defensive line. No tackles for loss today, no sacks today. This would be their 6th straight game without a sack. You got to go all the way back to 2005 in the FBS since there's been that long of a streak.
It's a good start
there
defensively.
You go. There's that
and
tackle
there is
for
that
loss.
first TFL.
Love it. Jordan Turner. Just all kinds of movement up front, but Turner comes from that linebacker spot, and because he triggers so quickly, Josh Geske, the left guard, isn't able to get up and block him.
Loss of 1. Turn to the corner. Here is Franklin.
Franklin, got to protect that ball, man. I said you got to get that loaf of bread swinging out there. Don't want to do this. Comes up. I know that you want to get that one arm free, but you can't swing that thing like that, man. That's recipe for disaster. I guess he's close to the sideline and thinks, you know, if anything, he'll just get knocked out of bounds.
Ed Woods on him, Arizona State transfer. 3rd down and 3. Well, the Spartans get a stop here. Altmaier steps up in the pocket and completes underneath to Franklin for the first down.
Well, what I love about Luke Altmaier is just the poise and the calm climb that he makes in the pocket here. Quarterbacks have to be at their best when everything around them gets chaotic. And you really can't stare at defensive linemen. You just got to kind of feel where they are. And you did an excellent job there, stepping up calmly to make that throw.
Altmaier to pass, feeling pressure, heaves it into coverage, got his man, Pat Bryant, who made the big grab for the touchdown earlier today. That's another chunk play for Illinois and a first down.
Yeah, and it's going to be another big shot that Altmaier is going to take in the pocket, but you see the little out and up move there. Remember, this is Ade Willie in for Charles Brantley, their excellent cornerback, and it was not too bad, just a little bit of push. The head goes back to the ground, but still takes some courage to stand up in there. You're not sure how those defenders are going to come in.
40 yards on the completion, a behind the back handoff. I don't know if that was the design on the play to Aiden Lawfrey. A little odd.
Yeah, so it's like somebody, he might have opened up the wrong way and did the late handoff backwards.
This was after the play.
Saw more action with Jake Paul and Tyson last night. That's not saying a lot.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd down. Altmaier steps up, navigating the traffic, dives ahead across the 20. Not much there, though. Just a gain of 3 and a 3rd down and long.
Well, you love the determination that Altmaier plays with, but he's really got to be careful when he takes off and runs. So a couple weeks ago, it's Minnesota, a couple fumbles in that game. And as a quarterback, you're not running the ball that much, but once you make that decision to run and there's no opportunity to pass it anymore, you got to make sure that that thing is put away and held against to your side in a way where defenders can't knock it away.
Third down, Altmaier being chased down from behind. It's an incompletion to bring up 4th down. Nakai Martinez brought the heat.
Yeah, he brought the heat. And again, though, from Lutmeyer, nice job by Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, dialing up this pressure. But this is something that Barry Lunney said. So we got to have him ready for essentially the quickest worst thing that can happen. What's that worst case scenario? And you're not thinking about 5 different things that you're going to do. You think about the best thing to do. Best thing to do there, just escape. Try and get that throw downfield.
Just to make it an 8-point lead. David Alano from 37, line drive kick is good. 5:45 to go, third quarter. Illinois back up by 8. Today's Fan Cam is sponsored by Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Nice student turnout. Final home game of the season. A couple of basketball jerseys in there. College hoops season underway just across the street. Illinois with an 8-point lead on Michigan State here. They'll play their final 2 games on the road at Rutgers and at Northwestern. Michigan State with 2 home games to close out after this, their final road game of the year.
That guy was too cold to move around. I guess, I don't know. You're better off moving around, buddy.
Ethan Machowski with the kickoff here. And there'll be a touchback. So Michigan State, boy, that was where was that the first half? That kind of drive that they put together to begin this half. And we'll see if they feature more of Carter, more of Foster. And again, we haven't called the name of Nick Marsh very much.
No, we haven't yet. And you have a young quarterback, of course, Aiden Childs, with Jonathan Smith as backup at Oregon State. Came over along with a number of the coaches. Sometimes it's just figuring out what the defense is actually doing to you. Remember, with 2 weeks, they're probably changing up some looks, some things that Aiden Childs wasn't expecting. Let us know what you're comfortable with.
Hand off here. Spin move from Lynch Adams across the 30. Gain of 6.
You always have to remember Childs, so dangerous with his legs. And I love what they did in the first half, going from zone read, where he carries the ball to the outside, to more inverted veer, where he runs the ball a la Cam Newton, Gus Malzahn in the Auburn days, right up the middle.
Lynch Adams again, and he's unable to get away. Tracked down by Matthew Bailey. Set up a 3rd down and short. On paper, this Michigan State team should be better running the ball. It's got 2 2,000-yard rushers in Carter and Lynch Adams. You've got the legs of Childs, but the offensive line has been so ineffective all year at run blocking and protecting their quarterback. And it's really created a challenge for Jonathan Smith to find any rhythm from their run game. Childs, play fake. Somehow stays alive. He won't get away here. Absolutely swarmed. Alex Bray on the pressure.
Yeah, and Aiden Childs still able to escape. Just an absolute magician, does the Houdini and gets out of there, and he's motioning to Isaiah Johnson. Scramble drill, you got to get upfield, but Alex Bray is right there to bring him down. Great job escaping, but that Illini defense just a little bit too much. And I'm talking to defensive coordinator Aaron Henry, he said, you know, they were going to mix up, they're going to change a lot of the looks that they were going to have. Some of that compensating for Dylan Rosiak being out, but some just to give different looks.
Nice punt. And Beatty from his own 19, wheeling across the hash and brought down at the 30. Late flag, though, and this is back by the kicker.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield, kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. It's 1st and 10. Timeout on the field.
It'll be Illinois ball. Looking to build on an 8-point lead. Luke Altmaier, solid afternoon of work for the Illini.
Certainly, he's done a nice job protecting the football today. 3 interceptions on the season, none today. Great touch with the football, judicious use of his legs. He's taken care of the football, hasn't put it on the ground, which he did a couple times against Minnesota. Nice job protecting it today. Kind of an underrated quarterback, I think. You look at his numbers for the year. One of the best touchdown interception ratios in the nation.
Let's pass off the hands of Arkin. Yeah, comes into the day, Altmaier, 5th in passing touchdowns in the Big Ten, 6th in passer rating, top 10 in yards and yards per completion. And you mentioned the touchdown to interception ratio. He is actually the best in the Big Ten. Second only behind Cam Ward among power conference quarterbacks.
Well, that was coming into today, though, so it's the same now. He's tied, 18-3.
Altmaier being chased down by Ed Woods. Just announcing that the pass was legal. The man in the area would have been McCray. Still, Michigan State, got to tell you, their defense looks a lot better here in the second half. Twice they've been able to get pretty good penetration. Third down here.
A little bit of confusion along that defensive front from Michigan State getting lined up here, but Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, trying to change up those looks. Maybe get that elusive sack that they haven't had now. This would be the 6th game.
Oh,
there it is!
Under trouble.
Oh.
And he'll get away and throw it away.
Oh, 2 opportunities right there to make it. And Altmaier decides to get a little bit slippery, make some guys miss. Bogle's going to have a chance right there. Gets away from him. Jalen Thompson. Talk about Jalen Thompson. They said he's just a perfectionist, just a sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan, and they love what they think he's got great potential. He's just got to cut it loose sometimes. Almost got that sack there.
Third 3 and out. Michigan State has forced this afternoon. Foster a fair catch at his own 15-yard line. We'll step aside. Michigan State down by only a score here. Both Michigan State and Illinois,
nice.
Century-plus old programs. Long time Big Ten teams. In today's program, a glimpse.
Oh, I love it, man. You go to those old school uniforms, no face masks, to the gigantic shoulder pads. You can see Chris Bogle there on the sideline. He's looking at the video. He's probably like, darn it! I was that close to the sack. Probably different language.
Should also be noted, this is the final game of what is the centennial season for this stadium. Inaugurated by the legendary Red Grange 100 years ago. A year-long celebration for Illinois. Michigan State and their offense back to work. Childs with some time to the near side, and Jack Velling. First touch for the tight end here today, and a gain of 4 on first down.
Yeah, but what I really liked on that play, though, was Aiden Childs had an opportunity to drive that ball downfield, but he's just seeing the field and defenders much better. And you could see as that route combination was unfolding, if he had taken one of those shots, it's a nice job, the defense, the zone that they were playing, kind of getting those, kind of catching those routes. He understands he's got the outlet underneath. Just makes it a simple pass.
Carter is stymied. James Kreutz, who's been rotating in and out here today. His brother on the offensive line makes the tackle.
And here's going to be an opportunity for this Illini defense. 3rd and 4 coming up.
Michigan State 1 for 8 on 3rd down this afternoon.
You can see Aiden Childs giving a few extra words to Montori Foster on that one and try and get him isolated. That little stack.
He goes that way, into coverage, too tall. Foster unable to reel it in. Xavier Scott shadowing him step for step.
Well, Brian Lindgren, the offensive coordinator, does a nice job getting the receivers stacked on the outside. He wants to give Montori Foster, who's made some big plays today, an opportunity. And the quarterbacks have a landmark on that one, and it looked like Foster might have been just a little bit too far to the inside on that one. I'm not saying that it's Foster's fault necessarily, but I think Childs was expecting him to be a little wider.
Good punt from Eckley. Driving Beatty, good 10 yards back. Beatty across the 35, rounding the corner, ran into his own man to stop the return. And he'll land at the 45-yard line. 55-yard punt. But Beatty did a nice job on the return.
He's going to run into C.J. Buffkin. He's blocking for him right there. He got the worst of it. I'm calling Buffkin for nothing.
It's an Illinois ball and a bit of ping pong back and forth here. Both 3 and outs. Valentine lines up in the backfield to Altmaier's right. And a short field here for Illinois. Looking to reestablish a 2-possession lead. Valentine looking to bounce to the outside, nowhere to go. He'll pick up 2. Tackle made by Jalen Thompson, the sophomore.
Well, that Michigan State defense really just clogging that middle. You know, Barry Lunney wants to try and get that inside zone going. When you have a guy like Valentine, only 190 pounds, he's not going to run over a lot of people, so you're hoping to get some movement. Michigan State really playing well on that defensive line.
Much better in the second half for sure. Pitch play. Lawfrey unable to get free. Out to the edge, no further. Thompson is there again. And it's 3rd down. And Michigan State, this defense has certainly bowed up here in the second half.
Well, we know what kind of defensive coordinator Joe Rossi is. 6 years with the Gophers before joining Jonathan Smith's staff here, defensive coordinator, and he just gets guys in the right place. Ed Woods, the cornerback, did a nice job turning that thing back to the inside. Defense just really well coordinated today.
Altmaier can't get away. Brought down at midfield. Quindarius Dunnigan, transfer from Middle Tennessee. And Michigan State forces another 3 and out. Unless they want to keep Altmaier on the field on a 4th down and 5. Interesting. And Altmaier's a little shaken up after that last play. We near the end of the quarter. And the clock will tick down. I'd be interested to see whether they wind up going for it to begin the 4th. You'd be giving Michigan State a really short field if you don't get it.
Oh, there you go. They heard you.
So we'll see what that decision turns out to be. Nate Carter with the score in the 3rd quarter to bring Michigan State closer. It's an 8-point game as we head to the 4th. Michigan State's defense has gotten stronger and stronger as the game has gone along. Illinois trying to clinch a winning season. If they can hang on for the victory here. Michigan State defense, though, holding Illinois to 3 points, 61 yards. They pick up their first 2 tackles for loss of the game. And it will be a punt for Illinois. We were wondering whether Luke Altmaier and the offense would stay out there, but at midfield, they want to see if they can pin Michigan State here. And this punt will not do enough. It's going to be a fair catch at the 14-yard line for Montori Foster. The only thing is, after scoring that touchdown, Robert, to get right back into this game, Michigan State with a couple 3 and outs.
We'll see what they can do on this drive. Childs, decent day so far. They really haven't gotten the run game going the way that they've wanted. And going back years, it's what Michigan State football's always been about. You mentioned it earlier. With that offensive line, I think that they would have better results trying to run the ball.
Childs under pressure right away, and he is ripped down. Seth Coleman got to him in the end.
Yeah, that initial pressure, James Kreutz. Childs does a nice job evading him. See Kreutz break free there, but Childs does his Houdini once again. Not quite enough to get away from everybody. Kreutz fights back along with Seth Coleman.
But that's the chronic issue. I mean, the amount of sacks and tackles for loss that Michigan State has allowed this year, some of the worst marks in FBS football. Childs hits his tight end, and that doesn't amount to much. Ryan Mead on the tackle. As Brendan Parashek is wrestled down, and it's third down after no gain.
And a third down and a bunch, right? This is what you want. You didn't quite pin him with the punt. But you got to be careful here if you're Michigan State. How risky do you want to get on a 3rd and 14? Not a lot of great calls in this situation. You'd have to think they'd want to go back to Montori Foster, who's lined up in the slot on the right.
And the Spartans just 1 for 9 this afternoon. Childs rolls to his right, throws that way. It's caught underneath. Foster makes the grab, but it's going to be short of the first down. And again, Michigan State will likely have to punt here.
Get that same kind of action. Actually, Foster, oh, I'm sorry, yes, Foster was on the outside there. Comes back, and looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th, or at least line up. You just try and draw them off sides, maybe.
Timeout called by Michigan State, and that's their second. Everybody was kind of milling about. 4th down and 2 for Michigan State. Trying to hang in this game. Self-inflicted mistakes have been part of the story for Michigan State. 3 consecutive 3-and-outs now, and burning a timeout would be that self-inflicted mistake on the 4th and 2 deep in their own territory with just under 13 minutes to go in regulation time.
And we hear so many times that offensive coordinators, they have analysts and they say, okay, we're green at 3 or 4 or 2, whatever the case may be. You should have that decision made before you even get to 4th down, whether you're going to punt.
So Ryan Eckley get this one away. Line drive punt fielded at the 35 by Beatty, and he turns upfield. Flag comes in as Beatty is knocked out of bounds, crossing the 40 into Michigan State territory, and a big scrum develops along the Michigan State sideline. Everybody's going to be separated as Illinois pulls their players out of there. Well, let's check the flag here.
Got a couple of flags in that area, probably of holding or blocking the back, but we'll see. The referee's having pretty good discussion here. It might be fouls on both teams.
During the return, holding receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
That created the big hole for Hank Beatty.
We're going to see the hit here at the end. Eckley, the punter, comes up. Woo!
Wow, okay.
Man.
That's why he was getting dapped up on the Michigan State sideline.
Pat McAfee, loving seeing that.
Yeah.
Those punters coming up and making plays. Look at him going back and watch the video, too. Watch him sticks.
They led the Big 12 or
Try that
Big
with
10
a punter.
in punting average coming into the day. Top 5 in FBS coming in. But penalty yards will push them back near midfield. They're still on the plus side. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for Illinois, their last 2 possessions. Bit of a stalemate here as the second half is worn on. Illinois up by 8. Looking to put the finishing touches on their 7th win of the season. Altmaier drifting back. Hits his target underneath. But an ankle tackle, a brilliant one at that. Not allowing Colin Dixon to get away. Ed Woods making sure he does not let go. Altmaier took a shot at the end of the play.
Well, yeah, it's Martinez coming off the edge. See his leg get, ooh, boy. Man.
Could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah, it certainly could have. Depends on what kind of field you're on and kind of when that foot hits the ground in relation to when you're getting hit. But fortunate for Altmaier and the Illini, it wasn't worse.
Drop the snap, and Altmaier will just try to dive ahead. And he eats it, but it's been a bit of a tough second half for this Illinois offense.
Yeah, watch Altmaier turn his head just as the ball's getting there. Got to look that thing in. You know, you do that so many times and you take it for granted, but you have just got to watch that ball go all the way in the hands. I mean, we see receivers do it all the time, right? And quarterbacks certainly with those snaps, especially those snaps where a little bit closer to the center. Make sure you look that thing in.
Trips to the wide side. Michigan State bringing a blitz. Altmaier throws, caught! Bryant deep into Michigan State territory, across the 20-yard line. Pat Bryant has been there for every big catch for Illinois today.
Boy, poise in the pocket once again from Luke Altmaier, but Pat Bryant, full extension on the catch. Why he's so dangerous. I loved Altmaier's poise in the pocket, working through his progressions, and his man, Pat Bryant, shows up right where he needs to be.
32 yards for Bryant. Third catch of 30-plus this afternoon. First down for Illinois. Loffery getting the call, bouncing off a tackle, nearly shedding another. He's inside the 10.
Boy, we've seen Loffery with some really tough runs today. That's what happens when you have a crowded backfield too, man. Talk about hot hand. You're running back sitting in that room. You're like, I got to go make something happen. You're cheering for the other guys, but when you go out, you got to bust a couple of those tackles, do something.
Right on cue, they sub McCray in for this second down.
Pat Franklin isolated a couple times here on the outside. See if they take a shot to him.
It's McCray. And he'll get close to, and indeed will get them a first down. It'll be first and goal for the Fighting Illini.
Now Loffery goes back in. He might have both of them in. Oh no. Tapping out.
9.5 to go. And Illinois knocking on the door yet again.
Franklin moves back to the right side of the formation. He looks a little slow, a little gimpy possibly. Have an ankle issue.
And off. Loffery stopped at the 5. Quan Buckley, the Nebraska transfer, limits the gain to 1. Now Michigan State will substitute. Illinois, they've been able to control clock pretty effectively here this afternoon, owning the time of possession by about 4 minutes over Michigan State. Continues to tick in their favor here with 8.5 to go. Second down and goal. Loffery got a nice block along the edge, diving just shy of the goal line, marked down inside the 1. Aiden Loffery looking for his first career collegiate touchdown.
With a little counter here, get a tackle and a tight end pulling around. Just shy of the goal line there is Loffery. We've seen some tough running from him today. All just a nose short crossing the plane.
Third down and goal. Illini looking to punch this in.
Got Arkin as the up man. See if they give the big man some love.
Timeout called by Illinois as the play clock had wound down. 7:33 to go.
There's some poor clock management we've seen today.
We have.
You know, and it can be costly, right? You know, you got an 8-point lead here. Hope that won't come back to bite you, but we saw at the end of that first half, Michigan State not taking a timeout, which could have potentially given them another shot late in that first half. And we saw them call timeout and go for a punt anyway on 4th and 2.
Yep.
Now Illinois burns one.
Illinois will be heading to their 9th bowl in the last 31 years. But trying to clinch, it's their 5th winning season since 2001.
Well, it's a 2-score lead no matter what kind of points you get on the board, but you'd certainly rather have 6.
Extra lineman in on a heavy package. McCray leaps over the pile. Touchdown, Illinois.
Just in time for Illini basketball season, Josh McCray shows the ups. Maybe not basketball worthy hops, but enough to get over that pile and in for 6.
Could have worked on the swimming and diving team, though. That was a pretty good form on that. Off the diving board.
I guess.
Good. Hey, you know what they got?
Hey, man, it was enough. It was 6 points.
You're right, and they got the extra blocker in there on their heavy package. T.J. McMillan, redshirt freshman. And the extra point is good. Illinois now up 31-16 as the lead balloons to 15 here in Champaign with 7.5 remaining. Well, it's been a minute or two since Illinois' last home victory over Michigan State. I realized they were in different divisions back when divisions were a thing, and the conference was small enough to have divisions. Illini with a fourth quarter to remember, a couple of fourth quarter touchdowns from Jeff George Jr. 31-27 the final. Back on November 5th of 2016. In fact, Michigan State has won 16 of the last 20 meetings between these two. This is the 49th meeting all time. Michigan State leading the all-time series 27-19 and 2. And they won the last meeting between these two programs as well. Michigan State upset then number 14 ranked Illinois 2 years ago. Do the Spartans have a 2-score comeback in them? Had that touchdown right off the hop in the second half, but the offense has fizzled since. Luke Altmaier and company have done enough to control clock and balloon the lead to 15.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, Jonathan Smith, who was talking about the mindset, you know, trying to build a program, and certainly much rather be in a better situation in the fourth quarter, right, than down 15 with 7:30 to go. But this is where you build that character. A group of players, so many new players, 61 scholarship players. You learn a lot about guys, how they fight in situations like this.
Childs with time, hits his target across the middle. It's Marsh. And that long reach from Nick Marsh. He reels this one in. And it's a chunk play for a first down at 24 yards.
And the thing that you notice here, just watch how naturally he snatches this ball from the air. Doesn't break stride at all. Continues to gain yardage. Now, number one, Aiden Childs has to put it on the money, so a great throw. But you can see the development from the young wide receiver. Certainly doesn't play like a true freshman.
Since the touchdown to begin the half, Michigan State has yet to have a first down. Little trick play. Childs down the sideline, incomplete. And a bit of a flea flick. Jack Velling the target.
Yeah, Ryan Mead, the linebacker, was in coverage all the way. Wasn't fooled at all by that backfield motion. Had his eyes where they were supposed to be, and that's what Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator, talks about. Simplifying on that back end, especially with Rosiak out. You kind of just have to put in the volume of defense that works for your players, not just what you want to call as a coordinator.
Brandon Carter most of the second half. Childs will throw to him, and Carter makes the reception across the 45-yard line, dives ahead, and creates a 3rd and short. 6:35 and ticking.
Yeah, 3rd and short doesn't matter at this point because you know they're going to go for it on 4th down. But here I would say watch the legs of Childs.
Spartans break the huddle. On 3rd down, it's Carter to move the sticks. But that clock and just those timeouts that they had to use earlier in the half, you're starting to think about it already. Under 6 minutes to go.
Yes, and of course, because Illinois able to stretch that thing out with a touchdown instead of a field goal. Need 2 touchdowns.
First time this half, Robert, that Michigan State's converted a 3rd down. A lot of time coming off the clock here. Childs to pass. It's caught by Marsh, or maybe not. Yes, it will be inbounds. And it'll move the sticks. That's a 1st down.
Yeah, Marsh does a nice job on the route here. Just so developed. Watch how he presses and then he sinks those hips so quickly. And that's why he stopped, because he knew that his knee was down as he's going down to catch that ball. But that's the thing that you notice out of Marsh is he runs routes like a guy that's been doing this at the college level for a long time. Gets the cornerback to turn the hips and then drops his hips quickly to move back and make a catch.
Childs in trouble, throws it away.
Maybe a defensive hold here.
There is a flag.
Yeah, I think it's going to be holding in the secondary there, Illinois. By the way he's reacted, it's probably going to be on Xavier Scott.
There are fouls by both teams that will offset. Intentional grounding, offense number 2. Holding, defense number 14. Replay 1st down.
I was wondering about the grounding there. Let's see what the hold was all about.
See Scott lined up here against Johnson. Oh, yeah, that's pretty clear. You see those hands go up like that. Almost always guilty. Wasn't happy about it, but pretty clear call right there.
Stops the clock. Nate Carter in the backfield with Childs on 1st down. On the 28, Childs to pass, batted down. Otherwise, it could have been picked. Velling knew that the throw was behind him and just wanted to get it away from the waiting hands of Matthew Bailey. 2nd down.
And Bailey was all over that one. Ran that route for Velling. In position, probably could have slipped under him to even try and make the pick there.
Lynch Adams checks in.
Been saying it a few times on this drive. We haven't seen Childs' legs come into play. Expect to see him at some point.
And he's in trouble. Flushed out to his left. Tries to stop cut. Keep the play going. Throwing downfield. Dangerous ball. Incomplete. And a late flag here. T-Raw Edwards got shoved down by a Spartan. One of the offensive linemen, Luke Newman.
T-Raw Edwards. Talk about him speaking to the team. He's been doing a lot of jawing to Michigan State.
The play is an incomplete pass. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 70 is 1st of the game. 15-yard penalty, the down counts. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, you know, I played with Johnny Randall, Hall of Famer. You can see that same kind of laugh and attitude from T-Raw Edwards. Ooh. He gets that big hit in there at the end, and then Luke Newman coming in, and the acting job would have been a penalty anyway, probably.
That is, I'm sorry, that's a flop.
But you're not allowed to push a
I
player.
know that. I know that. But I'm
There's
sorry,
no
the
question.
embellishment is another level.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah, to us. Not if you're a Michigan State fan, and neither is this. Childs is sacked by midfield.
Gabe Akis coming with the pressure. Able to get home. Look at this Illini defense, and Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator. They've done a tremendous job today, changing things up, changing looks up, bringing pressure from different places. It's kind of been a hallmark of this Illinois defense this season, really over the last 2 years under Aaron Henry. What you see pre-snap, not necessarily what you're going to see post-snap. Just try and confuse that protection and change those fronts. They go from 3-man down to 4-man down. Akis is going to be coming from the right side here, and he just loops to the inside, and he beats Ashton Lepo. He had some movement at that right tackle spot. We weren't sure if we were going to see Rakeem Johnson, the true freshman, at that right tackle spot.
Well, you got any 4th down and 34 plays that you can think of, Robert?
Absolutely. Hook and lateral. Well, I mean, you can try all kinds of things, right? You want to try and get some sort of interference call as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can't wave the white flag here and just kind of run it. Try and get it downfield, get an interference, or get lucky. Can't take a sack though.
Odeluga gets the sack. The drive is over for Michigan State, and so might be their night. 5th sack for Illinois. What could be the final offensive play for Michigan State here this afternoon. Pretty brilliantly drawn up.
Yeah, it was. Defensive coordinator Aaron Henry. You see he's got Kenenna Odeluga lined up there as a 3 technique, and he's talked about learning the capabilities of his defenders, putting them in the best position to be successful, trying other things, which is something that he's learned from a psychological sense from his wife, who's a clinical psychologist. And he says he's tried all kinds of things, teaching techniques because of her.
Josh McCray breaks free, and he's tackled inside the 10. Illinois looking to put icing on this cake, the clinch a winning season.
Just don't protect the edge for Michigan State. Everybody gets up inside, and Sabor, defender gets caught up inside. Allow him to get the edge like that. Big guy turns on the jets as much as he can. Propellers maybe, guy his size, but you see him, he's trying to score at the end of it. Cuts back to the inside. That was Bogle.
McCray up the middle again. And he's just shy of the goal line. This guy was something special when he burst on the scene as a freshman. I remember doing an Illinois game and thinking, well, boy, they've got their running back of the future. And injuries just derailed his career. But, man, when he gets going, he is so tough to bring down. He's got that big frame that you talked about, Robert. Still has another year of eligibility.
Well, you know, with a Brett Bielema coach team, they're going to do a great job of bringing in offensive linemen like they did this year with Priestley and Davis at the tackle spots. He's had so many guys turn pro with those offensive line, with those backs. They can be bruisers. Oh, not there.
Gray stood up and pushed back for a loss of 1.
Jordan Turner, nice job sniffing that thing out, getting in there. We talked about Brett Bielema, though, just the job that he's done turning guys into professional players, I think, really attracts other players to this program. We'll talk a little bit more after the 2-minute timeout about some of the things Bret Bielema does.
It's been a nice night for Illinois. Looking to get to 7-3 and snap this 2-game skid. Back right after this. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but his are the only ones that matter. Colin Cowherd is the most interesting man in sports. Don't miss The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern, only on FS1. 2-minute timeout. Bret Bielema's Illinois Fighting Illini knocking on the door to punctuate what's been a nice return to the field coming up.
Oh, not that team. Come on. We got Otis Day in the Night shout version going on here.
Altmaier under center, handoff, Josh McCray to take it in. And an overwhelming performance by Illinois on both sides of the ball. That'll get him back in the win column.
And just the way Bret Bielema and his staff want to do it. Punching it in, big physical line, offensive play. Get some guys pulling out front. McCray does a nice job just kind of falling his way into the end zone, finding that little crease. Some points that meant a lot to some people in the desert.
You would.
Whoop.
Extra point is good. Flag comes in. You know, we want to get going back on that topic. You're talking about Bret Bielema and building this program. And
offside in the neutral zone at the snap. Defense. The penalties decline. The try is successful.
I know that Illinois, their season, you know, losing to Oregon, #1 ranked team in the nation, no shame in that. Last game, they really regretted a lot of things that happened in that loss to Minnesota. You know, this is a program that can't compete right now in terms of NIL dollars. That is just the reality. And frankly, it will probably be the reality, even in a quote-unquote salary cap world. But you mentioned something that Bret Bielema can do. And again, these 2 games are very winnable. They can get to 9 wins on the season. What they can do here, what he can do as a coach, is send guys to the NFL. And that is something that gives you cachet, even more so sometimes than dollars will on the recruiting trail.
You're absolutely right. And he does a great job identifying talent. #1, J.C. Davis at that left tackle spot had been playing down there at New Mexico. And Coach Bielema, he was the first guy at his doorstep as soon as that window opened. And he can see what types of players he needs to be successful. But he also talked about some other interesting things that, you know, here with the Fair Catch, get an opportunity real quick to talk about. You know, he talked about dividing the scholarships, which you can't do at the FBS level right now because they're just head count scholarships. But at some of the other levels, you can divide the scholarships.
Other sports.
Yeah, and you can, and essentially what that means is you can have 1 or 2 players splitting one scholarship, especially in the NIL area. Like, okay, well, we'll pay for this. You'll get the scholarship here, but it'll be interesting to see kind of where the numbers fall from a total scholarship perspective, if they'll be able to divide them, and then if there's going to be some sort of salary cap, revenue share. It's wild, wild west right now.
Well, that's what we need to get to is some sort of structure. As Childs throws this one incomplete.
Yeah, right now it's baseball. It needs to be more like the NFL.
Right.
But I think, and this discussion's come up, right? Like you talk about having some sort of commissioner of the sport, because you need to handle it from a scheduling perspective. You need to handle it from a cap perspective, a revenue share perspective, and have some rules that you can enforce. Because right now the NCAA seems to be toothless,
especially in the courtroom. Another catch for Foster here, and he'll scamper out of bounds. And then you have on the other side, you know, this Michigan State program and Jonathan Smith, who is trying to do things in a very similar way to what he did at Oregon State. And I get it, in a world of instant gratification, you want to be like Indiana, right? Well, that's a once in a blue moon type scenario there. It's far more sustainable to try to build a program like what Jonathan Smith is trying to do in East Lansing. Childs again. This is incomplete off the fingertips of Marsh, who was well covered across the middle by Torrey Cox. And it'll be 4th down for Michigan State. And keep in mind, you know, the program at Michigan State essentially needed a fresh start. Friday night game against Purdue coming up, and they'll have Rutgers to finish. They lost 38 players from last year's team, half of which landed at major conference teams in the portal. But you've got a Coach of the Year in the Pac-12 just 2 years ago, who built a first-class program
in Corvallis.
In Corvallis.
That's nothing against Corvallis, but it's just not easy to do.
Childs' pass is caught in the flat by Carter. Turn the corner and get a first down as the clock will stop here briefly, approaching a minute and a half.
You know, we had talked about Jonathan Smith and 61 new scholarship players that came in this year, and I said, well, you know, how did you manage those players? Like, what was it that you did to kind of build a team out of a bunch of players, right? And he said, you know, one of these guys to get to know each other, and talked about time back in August, making sure they spent a lot of time together. And he's absolutely right about this. More connected players are simply more committed to each other and to the cause.
Alas, isn't that what college football should be at the end of the day? Instead of just a free agency nonsense that we get?
May I kick this soapbox that you're standing? No,
dude.
You know, and that's honestly, like, when I think about college football, it certainly is different in this era today.
Childs looking and throwing incomplete.
And that's one of the great things about college football. And Brett Bielema, he was talking about this. He said like 5 of his 7 roommates are going to be at this game today. Like, there's just something different about college football. By the way, I'm 2-0 against Brett Bielema.
Oh, you waited until this late in the game to throw that? Wow.
Just until the end. No, but the great thing about college football, I mean, you all choose. At least that's the way it used to be. You all choose to go to the same place, and you're fighting for each other, lifetime friends, and now it's more transactional.
Where's that soapbox that I can kick over there? Man,
just borrow yours.
63 seconds. And Childs completes to Foster as we hit the final minute. It'll be a 4th down for Michigan State. And you know, talking about the Spartans here briefly as we wind down the end of the game here. I know they're going to drop to 4-6, but again, to finish 2 games that are very much in front of them. The Rutgers team that's really struggled over the second half of the season, and Purdue, which they've had a lot of blowouts and been on the receiving end on. Very much could come down to the final game to get this Michigan State team back in a bowl game. And again, that would be a building block. Childs flushed out. And he'll try to run for it.
Got it.
And he'll get close. I think he got it.
Moving the sticks.
Yep.
Yeah, and to your point, you know, in talking to Jonathan Smith, said, you know, how are you a better coach today than when you first started? And he said, you know, you can't overreact to things.
Right.
And you also have to let the people around you do their work. Trust the operation, trust the process. I mean, people get, like, they think that that's just coach speak. But you really have to do that. You surround yourself with good people. You put a plan in place and understand that there are going to be ups and downs along the way.
Childs backpedaling and throwing, and it's incomplete. Tight coverage. Malachi Hood getting a late rep in the game. So for Illinois, they will snap this 2-game losing streak. They had back-to-back losses after clinching bowl eligibility. They were 6-1, 3-1 in conference play, and then lost to Oregon in the game they were never in to begin with. Game against Minnesota, where they were in it late.
That looked like a guy that's up 22.
Well,
no,
still coaching.
Hey, absolutely. Part of the process. I love it.
Childs is hit after he throws, and it'll be 2nd down. So Illinois will clinch a winning season today after a losing record 2 of the last 3 years. It'll be just their 5th since run to the Sugar Bowl under Ron Turner in 2001. And to give you an idea, again, of what they're building here in Illinois and what Brett Bielema has been able to do with a program that just doesn't have a sparkling history in the last, let's say, half century, because there have been some obvious greats, all-time greats that have been through here. They've had just 15 years with 8 or more wins in their program history. That's it. And they are on the cusp of opportunity to play for their 8th. Childs. And this will be incomplete. 27 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and you look at their performance in 1-score games, 8 and 4 in 1-score games last 2 years, 3 and 1 this season. And it's not just winning games, it's winning those close games, finding a way to do that. I think you really just have to have a different mentality, and you can't fake that sincerity.
Right.
And when you're trying to bring players in and you're trying to sell your program and sell yourself, quite frankly, to those players, that sincerity shows. But they also know, as we talked before, he can also turn guys into pro players. So both of these coaches, I think, are tremendous picks for their universities.
Play clock wound down. There's going to be a delay of game here.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
More like a delay of exiting the stadium for all the fans who want to get back to their tailgate. Watch the late games, grill up some brats.
Or people that have to drive to Chicago to catch flights.
I wouldn't know of anybody who would bother doing that.
Silly, right?
Yeah. Or the people who are trying to tune in for the Rutgers-Maryland game coming up.
I heard Chris Myers is calling that. I'm tuning in.
Okay.
Nothing against you. I'm just saying, it's Chris Myers.
I mean,
he's a legend. He's a living legend.
Split the difference the last couple of weeks, so that's fair. If I had worked with you the whole season through, then I would have been really effective. Childs completes to Lynch Adams. Nice. Sheds a tackle, lowers the shoulder, but won't get the first down. And that'll give Illinois, on their senior day, a chance to kneel things out. And the Illini will get to 7-3 on the season. And that'll give a chance for one of their reserves to come in. Kirkland Michelle out of Austin, Texas, to put the closing touch on this one. Illinois clinches a winning campaign as they bounce back from back-to-back losses, pick up their 6th home victory of the season. They will finish their home campaign 6-1 as they defeat Michigan State 38-16. Brett Bielema's club be off to a bowl game. Hey, they still got a chance to pick up a 9-win season if they can win out here in the regular season. Never mind what could happen in the bowl game. So that'll do it from us here in Champaign. Let's get down to Rutgers taking on Maryland.